Welcome to the Psychic Traineeship. I'm your host, Gabrielle, better known as Gabs, and I'm a psychic medium, trance channeler, and psychic development teacher. And I help women all around the world reconnect to their divine, intuitive feminine and become certified psychics, Akashic record readers, and healers, all through my program called the Psychic Traineeship. So if you're ready to activate your inner psychic, you're in the right place. On this podcast, we're going to be talking about all things intuitive, psychics, mediums. We're going to be talking to special guests. We're going to be talking about astrology, numerology, human design, talking about what it's like to truly live a psychic life and how easy it gets to be, and how good it is when you're connected to your spirit team and how easy life flows. So if you're ready to quantum leap into your most intuitive selves, let's go. What are we waiting for? Let's dive in to this week's episode. Hello and welcome back to the Psychic Traineeship. I'm Gabrielle, your host. I'm a psychic medium, Akashic record reader, psychic healer, and psychic development teacher first and foremost. I have spent the last 5 years honing my craft in teaching other light workers, empaths, intuitives, future seers, and healers how to become an embodied and grounded healer. And today, on this week's episode, I feel so inspired from my own life. This week has been an absolute wild ride for me, and I wouldn't have wanted it any other way. But earlier this week, I had a cosmic download about my childhood, a deep soul remembrance of how out of the body I was. I was not safe in my body as a child. It didn't feel very safe to me. Now, if you know much about human design, I have an open root chakra and also an open spleen. So it's a lot. And that was really hard to manage as a child. I was always taking in everyone else's fear, and I didn't actually feel like there was enough or that there was solid ground underneath me. And that really reflected in my life. I had a lot of illness as a child, and this led to a lot of things. But what I wish I understood earlier was that being sensitive is a calling card of a healer, a light worker, a teacher. It is the foundation of your altar of offerings as a light worker, a seer, a healer, a shaman, a leader, a teacher. So really, what am I saying here? I am saying that if you're listening to this and you've ever resonated with one of these words, psychic, intuitive, empath, seer, clairvoyant, starseed, crystal child, rainbow child, or anything along those lines, okay? It's a long list, and that list could have continued, right? You are not sensitive without good reason. Now, if you're sensitive, it means that you've lived a past incarnation as a psychic, as an intuitive, as a healer, as an energy woman, energy worker woman, or man, right? And you can probably feel this in your bones as I talk to you. The knowing that this is a remembrance you're going through of your sensitivity. We've been here before, right? We've had multiple past lives where we were sensitive and where you were sensitive. And in this lifetime, we're re-embodying that sensitivity. Why? Because we just stepped out of the age of Aquarius. And we need every fucking sensitive soul to stop allowing the matrix to tell them who to be and how to be. You're sensitive. I feel it. I know it. You want to go outside and be with the sun energy. You want to live from purpose. You want to help others. You want to change the world. But the only thing that is really stopping us, and so many light workers know they are light workers, but they're not bringing the light in the way that they know they incarnated to be. Yes, they're doing it to the best of their possibility right now. They're doing it to the best of their ability right now, but they know there's a better way. You know there's a better way, right? So if any of these labels have touched your soul, I want you to just take a second right now, here with me. Place your hand on your heart. Close your eyes. I incarnated in this life to be a healer. I know in my bones that I am meant to lead. I know I'm meant for greatness. I know that my sensitivity is my superpower, but my lack of embracing it is my current limitation. Because the fear of claiming your sensitivity is fucking scary. And I want you to let that be okay. It is. I get it. I was initiated too. I came here to walk these grounds with you. Right? When I was first initiated as a healer, as a psychic, as a medicine woman, was it a journey? I was initiated as a child. I was very empathic, psychic, and I spoke to animals. But I wasn't really reinitiated until 2017. I had a near-death accident. On the freeway, a truck hit me. And in that moment, my life flashed before my eyes, and my grandmother stepped forward and said, "Do not put your foot on the brake." So I didn't. And she saved my life because without cruise control on, there would have been no traction and my car would have flipped and the truck would have hit me a second time. And that wasn't even the initiation. The initiation was that job that I got my life. The initiation was I got a job at a funeral home because I saw the beauty of life. I truly, for the first time in my life, saw the beauty of a sunrise. I felt it in my bone, that remembering of being awake, just like you can see in your children or your cousins or your family, of those children with those innocent eyes of just how beautiful it is here. Right? I felt that aliveness again. And I went and I worked at this funeral home and I greeted 6 grieving families a day with their spirit team and with their loved ones. So imagine this. Here I am, like 22, sitting there. In walks the family, and in walks their dead grandmother too. Here I go flicking through my pamphlet and pulling out a pamphlet because I was the graphic designer. And I met with these families to do their life in pictures and their service sheets. And then I had a team who actually created everything. And I just met these grieving families. Like, what a crazy job. Totally. Let's give that to a 22-year-old. What an initiation that was, right? So then I would pull out a service sheet of like pink roses. Nan really loved pink roses. I felt, would this service sheet look nice? Oh, I felt like Uncle Bob loved fishing. So I actually designed this one in advance. And it went on for a year. Meeting families, of feeling the energy of the dead, of getting to have the weirdest experiences in this space. Like, I would go over to the morticians and I would talk to them about their experience, and I was so creeped out. I was like, over there, it wasn't that I was scared. I was just real creeped out because I knew 95% of humans never hang out with their body afterwards. But the spirits who clearly had mental illness in this life did, because they'd taken their energy from their mind and actually taken it in to the next realm. And that's what our spirit guides try and help us with as soon as we pass away. But we can choose to go into self-persecution, which is where we might build a room or stay somewhere really dark and lock ourselves in a cell because we feel like we can't be forgiven. Because on the other side, there is total forgiveness. There is actually nothing to be forgiven. It's just a computer simulation almost. That's how it's treated. Like, if you messed up in the game of The Sims, there would be no worries, would there? Like, oops, I spent all my money, I'm bankrupt. There's no problem. And it's just like that when we go to heaven or when we pass away, right? So that was my initiation. And it's uncomfortable. And then from that initiation, I went and I got a more chill job. Can't imagine why. And I started to work with people with disability. And it taught me so much. And at the same time, I actually went and got my personal training certificate, and I still use it to this day. And I love it. And it was one of the best investments in my life, to be honest. But in that time, I started doing mediumship more seriously, and I attended multiple different teachers' classes. And I practiced as hard as I could until I realized that I was a trance channeler by nature, even though it wasn't fostered by any of my teachers. Right? And then I thought, I'm going to start a podcast. And it was back then called Becoming Intuitive, later called Activate Your Inner Psychic or Activate Your Intuition. It's had a few names over the years. I'm a generating manifester. Love a good old change. Right? And that podcast built me a 6-figure business in 12 months. Crazy. I didn't even want a healing business. I was doing this for fun, right? That was my first initiation, was to build a healer-based business. And I did it. I loved it. I did Akashic record readings and psychic healings. And then I started to have all my clients who'd come see me for a while, 6 weeks, 12 weeks, 12 months. Hey, how do I do this? So my second initiation was to build this company, to build the psychic traineeship, where I train you, the light leaders, the empaths, the intuitives, the sensitives, to be able to communicate with your guides, to be able to really give Akashic record readings, psychic healings, and psychic readings, plus learn light language, plus learn tarot, plus learn how to build a business, plus learn how to hold emotional ceremonies and do shadow work. So I built out this course that takes people 2 years, right? And that's been my second initiation. And you know, the only thing I think about often is, imagine if I never did the scary thing, because I was shit scared, because I'd put up a link in cyberspace. And then these randoms started booking, and I had to quit my job. And even when everything comes to you, it's still scary, right? And I want to tell you right now, I see you in your fear of the fear of knowing how big you're meant to be and that you're meant to do something different in your lifetime. I see you. But I want to remind you, you didn't come here to play safe. Because when you pass away, you're not going to say, I wish I worked more. You're going to say, I wish I did the thing I knew I incarnated for, because now I've got to come back. And I'm not using the comeback card as a problem. Like, I don't see that as a problem. I'm just incarnated, living in my channel, reminding you of the truth. I know you feel it. And I know you're meant for more. I know you have hundreds of past lives that are calling you. And that's why you're listening to this podcast. And the number one thing about sensitive souls is that you don't yet understand that the only thing that's causing this chaos is your energy. You've incarnated with the remembrance of oneness. So oneness is one of the 12 universal laws that states we are all one entity. We come from the same source, whether you call that source soul or that source chi. We all come from the same origin, just like all the stars. And when we incarnate with a remembrance of oneness, it means that we feel everything, because we're experiencing all our abilities in this one body. We're experiencing all the different other incarnations of this lifetime at the same time. How cool is that? But it can become really overwhelming when we're sensitive and empathic, which is another word for psychic, because when you're an empath, you're clairvoyant. I'm so sorry. You're clairsentient. You can feel other people's feelings, or you're claircognizant, which is clear knowing. You just know things, right? And this is how you're reading empathically, right? Because you incarnated with that oneness, which has opened your energy system to be able to receive more data. Do you want to also know what that is? It's called human fucking evolution. Like, you are human evolution in a bottle, babe. Like, you are human evolution in a bottle. And you have a choice now. You're going to use the human evolution you were given, that remembrance, that knowing of divine source in you, to choose to change the world and make it better. Because you were born with a fucking gift. And if you don't want to, valid. But if you want to, if you're petrified and scared, I am sitting here right now with this message for you. Come to my masterclass next week. I am holding a free workshop called Empath, Awaken, Master Your Energy. Now, to sign up for my free masterclass, all you have to do is run to my website, gabriellebentley.com, and go to the psychic community and sign up, and you will get the Zoom link, and you can come and join this 2-hour masterclass on the 30th of this month. But if you're hearing this and you're like, I know I need to act now. I know that in the best interest of my own humanity, right? We always have a choice. And if you are not doing what you desire and what you love, I ask you to question, how is that self-impact having a global impact? If you know that you are meant to write a book, that you have the capacity to hold that workshop, that you know how to energetically heal on an unconscious level, how many people are you choosing not to make impact with? How many people are you not changing their lives, right? This feeling you have in your bones, that knowing, it is a call to action, a call to rise. And you know it wasn't this hard for no good reason. You deserve the payoff at the end. And that's what you get when you truly allow yourself to be initiated in this mystery school of life. And I mean truly initiated. I mean not going for what seems to be option B, and only ever going after the true option A of the thing that your soul deeply, truly desires. Will you experience what you came here to experience in this lifetime? People always ask me, how do I know if I'm in alignment? The most simplest answer is joy. How to know if you're definitely out of alignment, pissed off, frustrated, irritated, angry, wishing it was the weekend, right? It doesn't get any more simpler than that. You're either building the life you want to create, or you're destroying the life that your higher self wants for you. And I know this is blunt, right? And I am blunt for a lot of reasons, but I've spent hundreds of hours in my Akashic records. I really see it as black and white these days, because the one code of my initiation that I've understood is that the only reason we incarnated is sovereignty, to be a singular entity, right? And this is why I help empaths come back to be human. And then they can choose to open up those same gifts and be psychic if they want, but no longer be an out of control empath, right? You have that choice. You get to make it. And your higher self and you already know what's in store if you choose to act, because your higher self will always give you dividends and your ego will always give you pain. So ask yourself, and just ask yourself 7 times today, right? 7 crazy things before breakfast, but this time 7 crazy questions to ask. But it's just one question. Am I living right now out of fear or out of joy? And you can replace joy with love, right? And I want you to ask yourself, And if joy is not the answer or love is not the answer, I want you to ask yourself, where am I moving from? Is it fear? Is it panic? Is it fear of judgment, pressure, insecurity, disconnection from source? Because the whole point of having a spiritual practice is to find stability in ourselves, right? To find that peace and that love. And that is what comes with being in our purposes. I can guarantee you, I'm living it. It's bliss. It's honestly like one long morning practice. So I want you to ask yourself, is what you're giving yourself something you deserve, or do you deserve better? And if you deserve better, I hope you give it to yourself. If you need help, message me on Instagram. And if you're stuck, come to the free masterclass next week. And you know this masterclass is about to change the lives of many, many people. It's actually a workshop. Like, we're actually going to be doing workshop tasks in this event. Like, I've never done a workshop before. I've only ever done masterclasses where I talk. But we're going to come into here and we're going to do practices together. So if you've ever wanted to learn from me, if you've ever been curious, this is your absolute last chance. And the other thing, guys, below is the link to sign up to my email, right? You need to sign up to my email because I'm releasing a Black Friday sale and it is like crazy. I will be giving readings away for the price that I gave them away in my first year. So if you've ever wanted a psychic reading with me, this is your chance. Get on my email list. And if you're also wanting to just keep working together, below you'll see all the information to my psychic traineeship. So I recommend go have a look. But before I run off, I just want to thank you for listening to this episode, for sharing it with your family and friends, and for being here for yourself. Because I know you're listening this because we incarnated or we have lived a past life together. And you are fucking powerful. And I am so grateful to have you in my life. And if you feel called or inspired from this episode, please reach out to me on Instagram. I absolutely love talking to you. So until next week, stay intuitive, stay inspired, and stay psychic. Hey, gorgeous soul. I just wanted to take a moment and say a heartfelt thank you for tuning into this podcast. Your energy and your presence, it means the world to me. If you've been enjoying these podcasts, I have a small favor to ask, and it only takes a few minutes, but it makes a huge difference. If you would leave a review or share your thoughts, it would help us find our tribe and continue spreading this beautiful, empowering work. Your feedback helps more like-minded souls discover our community, and it inspires me to keep creating content that resonates deeply with you. So if you're feeling the love, please hit that review button. Let's grow this community together, continue to uplift, inspire, and transform. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being part of this journey with me. I can't wait to connect with you again in the next episode. But until then, I want to remind you there is a community here. If you jump to my website, join our community, come to the free monthly activations or masterclasses. And don't forget, in the community hub, there is a question and answers channel. And if you've ever wanted a podcast on a specific thing or you've wanted to drop a question, go drop it in there. I want to make this podcast specifically for you. I want you to learn what you want to know, and I want you to become the best psychic you can be. And I'm just along for the journey. So go drop your questions, and I'm going to see you next week.